Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is Ariana. I am usually the guest panelist, but today our two beautiful hosts could not make it. Shout out to Rosa and Glory. But today we do have a special guest appearance. We have the writer himself of Boston to Philly. This is Ralph.
What's going on? Happy to be here.
And right now you are locked into the Boston to Philly podcast. Now let's get straight into it. Today, we are discussing Israel and Palestine. We have a special expert witness, distinguished Leshem. He's inside Jerusalem, Israel. And we have distinguished Amir, who is a Palestinian with a very personal experience on this situation.
Nice to meet you, Ariana. Salam alaikum, Amir. كيف حالك
وعليكم
يا
السلام. وعليكم السلام, buddy.
حالك.
Shalom. Shalom. I'm sorry, what was your name? Hasham?
Leshem.
Leshem. Shalom, Leshem.
Shalom, Amir.
Cool, let's get into it. So my first question, Hashem and Amir, because I know sometimes people don't even like calling it Israel. They prefer Palestine. Is there, what is the correct way to say it? What's the preferred word to call that land in your eyes?
Well, definitely in a Palestinian point of view, it's Palestine. So definitely we call it Palestine. And we call what you said to be Israel as occupied land. That's because Israel is a new Jewish state. Palestine is biblical. The name Palestine is biblical. It's ancient, so it's always referred to as Palestine, and that's where we get our identity from. So we don't really. Some Palestinians don't even recognize Israel, and definitely not as its capital. Just because President Trump said that Israel, he let Jerusalem be the capital of Israel, doesn't mean that it is. Spiritually, to Muslims and to Palestinians, Jerusalem would always remain a Muslim city and an Arabic city.
For us, Israel, in our Bible, have the word Israel, like the country for the Jewish people, around between 600 to 700 times. So like 3,000 years, this is the land God promised for the Jewish people. Of course, for us, Israel called Israel and not Palestine.
I find it very interesting. I didn't realize the different points of views on that. I guess some to each their own. I didn't realize that it was, I'm not as educated on this. That's why I'm so happy that you guys are here to educate me more on what your point of view on this is. So Amir, you believe that it is Palestine, and Leshem, you believe it is Israel. Okay.
For the sake of today's meeting, how should we move forward? What should we call it? Is there a medium ground so I could refer to it?
You can say you could say Palestine or the Holy Land.
The Holy Land? Is that a fair agreement?
About how to call to my country?
In terms of this conversation, how should I?
I don't know. You can open Google and you can see it's Israel. And Google say it's Israel, not just Donald Trump. So I think for me it's Israel. You can call to this however you want.
In your country right now, Leshem, are you safe? Was it close to you? The violence, some of the eruptions. How's that looking like?
I can tell you the place I live in Israel, where my family live, it's like 5 miles from Gaza. So last month it was very tough month. Was simple. But now it's quiet a little bit. But we get used to this. So We know how to be in these situations. It's not was simple, but we did it. Now everything, I can say, quiet.
Amir, do you have family in your country?
I do. I have a lot of family in the West Bank and in Jerusalem.
How's that? What's that experience like, if you mind me asking?
Well, for them in the West Bank, it's not like Gaza. Of course, Gaza's more bombardment, destruction. Definitely not like where Lashem lives. They're just very. The morale is with the people of Gaza. They're not. They feel like they're in Gaza. They're not being bombed like in Gaza. They live it more peacefully, but definitely they are affected by it.
In terms of like, how did it start now? It's happened for quite a bit, and there's so much to layer back. There's the idea of, I've heard in the news and from what I've read, there's a lot of Palestinians living in the country that have been that seem to be being forced out. So I'd love to kind of discuss that. But even before we get to that, where does this violence come from? What is the conflict and how did the violence arise? Whoever wants to jump on that.
Well, it's pretty simple. Basically, the Israelis under the Zionist movement, they want a homeland. They want to live as Jews and Israelis in their own country, which a lot of Jews before Israel lived in a lot of Muslim countries and Arabic countries. Like you have a lot of Jews from Lebanon, you have a lot of Jews from Syria, you have even Palestinian Jews that speak Arabic, have the same culture as us. You have Moroccan Jews, Tunisian Jews, Iraqi Jews, Turkish Jews. You even have Iranian Jews. Till today, some of these Jews still live in those countries. But the Jews, especially from Europe, that were being, prosecuted by the Europeans and Hitler, the Russians. They, with the Zionist movement, they wanted to establish their own country on the expense of the Palestinians, the Arabs, the Muslims that were living there at the time. So the Israelis at the time, the Zionists, they started to do like very vicious operations to scare the Palestinians, and so they could leave from their homes, and they were successful in doing that, and that's where the Nakba came from. So through terrorism, basically, they scared the Palestinians. They ran off. They made a lot of refugee camps, thinking that they were going to come back, being to their homeland, being promised by the other Arabic countries that they were going to win them their homes back. So this is the same thing that's happening over and over again, just like we see in Sheikh Jarrah, the Palestinians being taken out of their homes for Jews, Israeli settlers to live there. You see, just constant like aggregation, aggression, water. You can cut off the water whenever they want to. They cut off electricity whenever they want to. You have a lot of trees, because a lot of Palestinians are farmers. They cut off the trees. So then you get sick of it. You don't want to stay there, and they take inch by inch, even if it takes every year 1 inch of land, another house demolished, another house being taken over by Israeli settlers. They're gonna keep doing it, and that's what they're doing. And then what they're gonna keep saying is, well, the Arabs started it first, the Muslims started it first. We want peace. We love the Arabs. The Arabs should, and they're gonna keep saying that. And they say one thing, and they say it to the world, one thing, and then they do something else. And since now we have social media, a lot of the truth is unfolding. It doesn't take a genius to see what's going on. Many people say, oh, they can't just get along, two-state solutions. They both have to come together in agreement. It's bullshit. bullshit. It's a lie. It's a big fat lie. They don't want Palestine, all for themselves. And they don't want to kill all the Muslims. They probably want some of them to live there in minority and kind of make them be Israeli and nationalistic and brainwash them, you know. But as long as they're in control and they get to do what they want, and the other Arabs and Muslims that live, and even Christians, you know, anybody who's not Jewish and Israeli is treated as second-class citizens, sometimes even worse. You know, and who would want to live there? And so then that's the idea they want to paint into people's hands. Why would you want to live here? Why would you want to be treated like leave? You know, and so Palestinians don't want to leave, and they're not going to leave, and they're going to keep fighting, and we're going to keep fighting, you know, until we get what is ours.
I'd love to hear your thoughts on that, Lashem. And also, I really appreciate, Amir, you sharing your thoughts on that, because, you know, I never get to hear from people that I can relate to and speak to. And I keep on seeing people on TV with all these fancy titles that I'm like, I don't even know if these guys have ever had to work a day in their life. You know, I don't know how real these people, how authentic these people are for me to be listening to. But I appreciate you sharing your.
I lived in Palestine. I lived in Palestine for 4 years. I went through it. I've seen it. You know, so it's not something that I just see on TV. I've seen it. I've experienced it. I know a lot of. I might not have all the details, but you don't need to know. You live a week in Palestine, and you'll know what's going on. You don't need to have Trump or Biden or somebody tell you who's right and who's wrong. You go and live there. You see how people live. You live in Palestine for a week, and you live in Israel, so-called Israel, for a week, and meet the people, see what they have to say. You know, dress up as a Palestinian.
First of all, it's very, very sad for me to hear Amir, the things he said about my country. But I'm not judging, because this is the problem in the Middle East. The problem is the parents of Amir teach him, the teachers of Amir teach him, the things Hamas teach the Palestinians. This is the problem in the Middle East. All what he said, really, it's not true. But again, I'm not mad on him. He tell this about my country.
You don't need to.
I'm not judging.
My parents didn't teach me
because
nothing.
this.
I seen it myself when you're a kid.
But my friend, ya zalame, but I give you the respect to talk. Now give to me. So this is the things the Hamas teach the Palestinian people to hate us. And you can sound in Amir words how much he hates us. And this is the problem in the Middle East. This hate. And we really not hate them. We really not.
I don't listen. No, there's no. This is not about hate and love. But let me ask you, Lashaim, if you take my land, and you know what, not my land, but I'm gonna give you an example. As a kid,
but before this, why you say you don't hate us? You hate us. You even don't say.
I don't say I hate you personally.
No,
but
you hate me.
If you agree with what's going on in Palestine, and you say, yeah, you know, my country's always right. Yeah, they deserve to die. These kids. Yeah, they deserve. We have the right to take people's houses from you. I'm gonna hate you. Hell yeah, I'm gonna hate you. You want me to love you after that? You want me to love you or love your country and your government after they do the things they do? Are you crazy? You're crazy. You're talking crazy.
Okay, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe.
Yeah, but you are crazy. I don't understand how you expect me to love you and love a country that is treating my people like second-class citizens, killing them, taking their houses, taking their lands, cutting off their water whenever they want to. You're delusional here, buddy. I think you're watching too much Looney Tunes. Maybe you should be listening to facts, not dreams. Okay, you can't expect somebody to be like, listen, I'm gonna beat you up, but shut up, don't scream. I'm gonna punch you in your face. You better not tell anybody. Okay, I still love you. Are you crazy? Yeah, of course I'm not gonna be happy. You see, when I see stuff, the violence that's going on in my country, you think I'm gonna be happy? You think we're gonna just be? And then I see it. You know, you might kind of calm down. And then after 2 weeks, same thing. And then after 3 weeks, same thing. And then when it happens to you personally, of course you're not gonna. You know, it's not hate. You know, because it's not only hate. Because I feel bad, man. I feel bad. Not for my people. I feel bad for the Israelis and the people who are in government. Because there's going to be a special place in hell for them. There's going to be a special place in hell for them to kill innocent people. And then it's so much oppression for something that they didn't deserve.
Let's show him some time to kind of give some of his thoughts on everything. Again, Amir, I appreciate you going in and being your authentic self. Much respect. And Lashem,
I'm not gonna be all nice and this, and it doesn't work like that, man. You know, at this point,
I just want to hear Lashem out.
The world's gonna see. Everybody's opening their eyes, man. It's not like before where you could hide everything on people on news news channels that are being paid and that are Israeli owned. You know, it's not like that anymore. And TikTok and Facebook and Instagram, they're trying to delete all these accounts that are pro-Palestinian. They're trying to delete all the real news, not the fake news, the real news, the real videos that's coming that people see and are all eye catchers, eye openers, but they're gonna fail. The truth is gonna come out one way or another.
Okay, so I try. Okay, so now it's possible to continue. So what I start to say, it's very sad for me to hear what Amir say about my country, because I know the truth. I know have 2 million. I don't know if you know, but have 2 million Arabic Israeli Palestinians live in Israel. 2 million of them. And they live very good. Believe in me, they living amazing. They live in Tel Aviv, they live in Haifa, they live all over. And we live with them with peace. You know, next week, go to be new government in Israel. And part of the government, inside the government, it's Arabic people. A lot of people. Okay, so we really want to live with them with peace, but it's not possible. And the reason why it's not possible is because people like Amir, okay, people like Amir don't accept to Jewish people have own country. So how we can live with person like Amir? How I can live with him if he don't want me to have country? It's not possible. You understand? And this is why I said, because I have a lot of people like Amir, and with this kind of people, we can't do peace. We really want, but we can't. And Amir
Let me ask you a question, Lashim.
Amir said something before. He said, you need to live 1 week in Palestine and 1 week in Israel and see the difference. Of course you go to see different. Same like you can live 1 week in Los Angeles and 1 week in Sudan, in Khartoum, in Africa. Of course, in America, it's going to be better, because in America, people want to upgrade, to go to college, to learn in university, to upgrade. In Gaza, they don't want. Hamas control in Gaza, and Hamas not give to his people to upgrade. Hamas want to education his people.
You know why?
For war.
You know why? I'm gonna answer you. I'm gonna ask you 2 questions, and I'm gonna tell you why they don't. This whole upgrade BS. Because Israel bombed its malls, its schools, its hospitals. So when they do upgrade, Israel downgrades them. That's why. That's
you
one.
You really believe in this?
Well, it's.
Yeah,
I don't. You
don't really believe in this?
Do you believe in it? Do you not believe in it? It's all.
Listen,
you can find it on YouTube.
I've been in Gaza more of you. Okay, in Gaza, inside, in Sajaya, all over, more of you. You don't really know what happened there. You think you know. You see in Instagram, you see in Facebook, you see fake news, you think you know. But from all, we are here 4 people. Believe in me, I know the best. because I've been there. You understand? This is the difference between me
You
and you.
haven't been there. Listen, buddy. Let me ask
I've
you
been
something.
there, and I'm telling you, we don't bomb school, okay? The thing what Hamas do, he save rockets in schools. Why he save the rockets in school? Because he know Israel not go to bomb the school, and this is the reason why he do it. And you know this.
No, I don't know this. Actually, I don't believe that, because the same excuse you said is the same things everybody that wants to defend Israel says, and it's been proven over. It's not the truth.
This is the truth.
It's not the truth.
I've been there. This is the truth.
Yeah, you've seen your own eyes. That's how much you've been there.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question. So now you said that the Arabs live in peace and they have equal opportunity. So then why are they being kicked out of their houses in Sheikh Jarrah? Why?
Listen, to be honest with you, I don't know.
Now you don't know. Now you don't know. How about this? Why when Muslims pray in the Aqsa Mosque, why are they throwing bombs as they're praying? Does Hamas is probably having some weapons in there too? You think Hamas is having weapons and that's why they're bombing it? No, while they're praying?
No, it's not was like this, Amir.
Come on, you see it. Lashaim, you see it, man. Everybody's seen it. Everybody in the world's seen it, and you didn't see it, but you've been to Gaza. While people are praying, as they're praying, they're being thrown.
But no,
smoke
Amir,
bombs,
this is not true.
Sound grenades. That's not true. That's not true.
No.
If you Google it right now, you're gonna find it. I bet you Ralph's seen it. Come on, stop, man. Stop with that.
Yeah, so
Does that happen in the synagogue? Does the Israeli soldiers go and start while people are praying? Do they throw smoke grenades and say, there's, it's fine. If we bomb the Muslims, we could bomb you. It's equal opportunity. Could we do that? Could Hamas do that? Hamas wouldn't do that. I'm not defending Hamas, but Muslims don't do that. We don't do that. Okay? I mean, you have this painted picture that your country is the best country and it's the safest and it's the best for Palestinians, Israelis. Meanwhile, it's not.
This is what I think.
It's not.
It's what I think.
And the fact is, I do suggest you do your research and you see the truth, because I'm sure Israelis, Jews, not everybody's bad, Even there's a lot of Israeli soldiers. They used to be in the IDF, and you can see from them they left the IDF, or now they're having PSD. What is it?
Post-traumatic stress disorder.
PTSD they're having, because they know they're doing something. Like, you have to be a heartless son of a gun to be in that army. If you are not heartless and you're in that army, you will have PTSD. You're doing something wrong.
But what the connection between PH something to this? You think you did something wrong. What the connection?
Because you feel guilty.
But first of all, it's not true. Second of all, not because this you get PH the post-traumatic. It can have a lot of reasons to get this. This is not the reason. Not because you do something, not because you're guilty, you get post-traumatic,
So I'm going to jump in, guys. And this is what I think Amir was saying, and Lasham, I think you're agreeing to it, which is that since I have my notes here, which is that since the conflict has restarted in both Israel and Palestine together, there's been questionable acts on the Israeli army side in terms of causing destruction in places of holy worship. And on the other side, both in America and throughout the globe, there has been Jewish hate crimes, where there's been a lot of animosity and hate crimes being targeted towards Jewish communities. So there's a lot of destruction happening on both fronts. So what I'd like to do is just kind of ask, I guess starting with Lasham, because you have, I guess there's a lot more that you kind of haven't spoken on just quite yet. Have you been experiencing any type of Jewish hate crimes, or have you heard of any Jewish hate crimes on your end? And have you heard of some of the atrocities that Amir just mentioned, which is that the Israeli army has been on record of doing, which is destroying places of holy worship, as well as in brutal form, killing children after capture or bringing them into hidden crevices near the Gaza Strip.
So first of all, it's very important to me to say something. Amir, don't go to like this, of course, but believe in me, the IDF, okay, the Israeli military, Israel defense and military, it's the most ethical military in the world. And please believe in me, I'm telling you, it's the most ethical military in the world, okay? You don't want to imagine to yourself what happened if Palestine, if Gaza, no matter if Hamas, excuse me, not Palestine, Hamas, shoot one rocket to Russia, to Putin, or to Syria, or to United States. No one don't want to imagine what happened if they do it to this kind of countries. But when they do it to Israel, really, Israel can delete Gaza in 5 minutes. But we don't do it because we care about the Palestinian people. We really care about them. And we really want to live with them in peace. And a lot of time, the IDF, the military of Israel, have a lot of options, okay, to eliminate a lot of terrorists. Because what they do, these terrorists, they stay in schools, in hospitals, in places like this. This is the shield for these terrorists. And Israel try to not make problem to any person, not terrorist. Really. But Amir think we are the terrorists in this story, and this is ridiculous. This is very funny if he really think like this. I don't know if he really think like this, but if he think like this is ridiculous. This is funny. Israel is the most ethical country in the world. Believe in me. So this is the first.
So is it ethical? Is it ethical? Is it ethical to kill little children while they're in their house? Is it ethical to take people out of their house while they live in the house? Somebody go tell you get out of the house.
We try
not even in Gaza.
Best.
I'm talking about in Jerusalem.
Of course,
is that ethical?
If he's terrorist, yes.
How about this? You talk about the idea. How about this? Is it ethical that if a settler is attacking a Palestinian, for the IDF not to intervene and let the settler hit the Palestinian? That we see on multiple occasions. But if the Palestinian fights back, they get punished for it? That's ethical?
I don't understand. Say again.
If a settler
attacks
a settler, an Israeli, in other words, attacks a Palestinian in front of an IDF soldier, and the IDF soldier does not protect the Palestinian.
No, this is not happened. This is not happened.
That doesn't happen.
No, okay. It's not. It's never not happened. How you know? How you know? Where you now? Where you see it
You
now?
can just YouTube it. And you can see endless videos that if a Palestinian fights back, defends themselves, and attacks an Israeli that's been provoked from the Israeli, then the Palestinian gets punished for it.
So there's one video, guys. I'll interject really fast. There was one video that I saw. There's two. I want to talk about two videos at this point. There's one video that I saw that Lashem was actually involved with, where he was speaking with somebody, and he was, trying to explain that he loved that person, and that he wanted this kind of issue out peace. It was a Palestinian. I think they were in America, and he was saying a lot of kind of hurtful things towards Lashem and the group of people he was with. They're saying that Jewish people eat babies, and they're saying that they had the Israel flag at the bottom of the shoe, so that when they walk, it's like stepping on Israel flag, and that was kind of like what they were throwing at Lashem. So I'd love to talk about that video, but at the same breath, I saw another video, and when I spoke with Amir, this is actually one of the reasons. Right after I spoke with him, there was a video that was viral of a Palestinian family who lived in a home for a very long time, and then they found a squatter. It was a Jewish man who was in the middle of their yard, and they were trying to, make him leave. And he basically said, "Well, I'm going to stay because you guys are going to be forced out. And if I don't take this home, then someone else will later. And they're explaining to him, hey, this is our house. You can't stay here. And the Jewish man was basically, and this is on video. This was viral. I promise you, I'm not making any of this up. This video of Lashem is also fairly viral. And this video, Amir, maybe if you've seen it, it was very troubling because this Jewish man was very crass. He was just like, yeah, I'm just going to stay here because even though it's not my home, I know you're going to be forced out. And if I don't take it, someone else will. So Lashem, let's first talk about that video. And then Amir, I would love for you to talk about if you've heard anything like that, people coming into people's, Palestinians' homes and just staying and waiting for them to be forced out. Because that's definitely viral right now, it's trending. And I don't really understand how that's happening. So let's first jump onto that video, Lashem. How did that happen? Where were you? I think Amir would love to hear that situation.
Okay, so yes, I was in Times Square in New York City. I slept in a Marriott hotel, and I saw from my windows a lot of Israeli and Palestinian people. So I running downstairs to see what happened. And it was like protest, protest Palestine, against protest Israel. And I saw one Palestinian Palestinian man. And this man looked at me with very, like mad face, okay? And he told me, you are kill children, your country like this, a lot of bad words. And I look in the eyes of this Arabic man, and I told him, I love him.
But I'd love to get both of your thoughts really quick, Amir, while you're here. The final question was this, which is the idea of moving forward. The outline is that the one state, right? Do you agree with the one state solution, a two-state solution? Is there some type of compromise that can be met? And what do you think is the compromise on your perspective, Amir?
Well, I think that Jews and Muslims, Christians, they should all live in peace. They should live together in one country. That's fine. Nobody, when the Israelis came from, or the Jews, I'm not gonna say Israelis because they weren't Israelis at the moment, when the Jews came from Europe, they weren't greeted by an army. You know what I mean? Like, get out of my country. After they started coming in, after their Zionist movement, yeah, they were like, the Palestinians were like, get out of my country, But so they can live in peace, but it can't be done under the Israeli government. Absolutely not. A. B, people have to go back to their rightful homes. So me personally, I believe that Jews should live next to it with Arabs, with Muslims. There's no problem with that. It's that the animosity has reached like such an extent that it's gonna be very hard to convince somebody, especially the Palestinians, that listen, your neighbor is gonna be Jewish now, do it the right way. You know what I mean? Buy land, raise a building, live there. Don't take people's houses, steal actually people's houses, kick them out, evict them, say, hey, this is my house now. You can't do stuff like that. And it's not going to stop with a government like this and with an attitude like, yeah, we're cool, we're the best, we're the most ethical, we can do this, we can wipe you guys out, but so we are merciful towards you, so you have to love us. I mean, this is bullshit. You can't tell somebody who's like a baby or a child that grew up in bombardment, being evicted. His grandparents were displaced from Haifa, from Akka, or wherever old Palestinian village, to say, hey, sorry for everything. We love you. We still love you. After all this, it's hard. It's very hard to do something like this. But Israel is definitely not a country that wants to. They don't want to mingle. You know what I mean? It's bullshit. They don't want to do it. That's what the facts provide.
I personally, I like the idea to have two countries, like separate, okay? But I don't think the Israeli Arabic go to accept this. I think the Israeli Arabic go to want to live in Israel. You know, I don't think it's smart idea to make two countries, okay, Israel and Palestine, and it's not good idea for the Arabic Israeli people to go to live there, okay? Because you know Israel is the only democratic in the Middle East, the only. No even other democratic in like Israel. So I believe we can live in peace in two separate countries or in one country. It's not matter. We can live in peace. Israel want peace. The problem is people like Amir. People like Amir don't really want peace. They don't believe in peace. How you can make peace with people not believe in peace? And before I start to talk about my last video, and I go to be very happy if Amir go to see this video. In this video again, I saw the Arabic person look at me like killer, and he told me, I am kill babies, I am bad, a lot of bad words. And I look his eyes, and I told him I love him. I love him, and I want to live with him together. And if you go to see this video, you go to see I look very honest, because these words come from my heart. You saw this video, right?
I saw it, yeah.
It's look honest, right? It look like I really mean to this world. And this is the truth. Israel want peace. War, it's not smart things. We don't want to live with war. But another thing we don't want, it's to give to Hamas the option to take land from Israel. This is very not smart. How we can give to terrorist people our land? How? Can't do peace with them. This is terrorist people. And I like to hear Amir what he think about Hamas. I very interesting to know what Amir think about Hamas.
So you guys are bringing up this Hamas a lot. I just want to know what's the background on that. Can you give me a little bit of intel? I'm not too familiar with that.
Listen, Lashaim, I'm not gonna say what I think about Hamas because it's not part. I don't know how Hamas operates, but I do know one thing.
You know a lot of things. You know, just Hamas things you don't know.
It's not in my jurisdiction to talk about Hamas.
Why? One thing I request from you. Tell me what you think about Hamas. Don't be scared.
Well, he wants to basically. This is the same thing. They want to say, oh, he's Hamas. Now he's part of Hamas. No, I'm not a supporter of a political party. I am a supporter of Palestinians, Palestinian culture. I keep my identity through my team. I see what's going on. I don't see whatever he's talking about, what Hamas does, and I don't see that. Okay.
What is Hamas? Simple question. Just answer. What is Hamas? Simple question.
Well, what is Hamas? Hamas is a political organization. I mean, a political organization. I mean, let me ask you something, Lashaim. What triggered Hamas to fire all these rockets? You know what I mean? It's not like Hamas is every single day trying to firing rockets. No, it's because Israel or the IDF were attacking Muslims while they're praying. We're stealing more houses. So Hamas only reacts to an act from the Israeli government. So I mean, and then you start saying if it does react, it's a terrorist. So it should be quiet. It should be keep its mouth shut. Palestinians keep their mouth shut. Whatever we do as Israelis, the Palestinians have to abide by. And if they don't abide by it, then they don't want peace. They're the problem. People like Amir is the problem because they stand up for what's right. Come on. Like if you expect me to say, yeah, Israel's a democracy, but will it ever pull an Israeli out of their house that they've been living there for 100 years to put an Arabic person in there? Or a Palestinian or Muslim? I don't think so. And you know the answer to that, Lashaim. So stop with that bullshit democracy.
what do you think Hamas is, Lasham?
This is terrorist group. This is not. It's obvious answer. I don't know about what he talking. He talk about politic. Which politic? Vote for Hamas. This is terrorist group Hamas. And
Yeah.
in the
Now, well,
day,
you know,
and in the
I'm
day,
not, I'm not,
Amir.
now the terrorists don't have to be covered up in with the covering of their faces and screaming in the streets. Yeah, there's other forms of terrorism, and it's like organized crime, and Israel's the biggest one, my friend.
Okay. So Hamas, this is a terrorist group, same like ISIS, same like the Taliban, same like Al Qaeda, same story. Okay, and this is the problem in the Middle East, and this why the reason I told to the Arabic guy in the Times Square I love him, because I really love him. I don't like Hamas. Okay, and in the day, people like Amir not gonna give legitimation to Hamas and call to Hamas politic group. In this day, we can start to talk about peace. But if we go to continue to give legitimation for Hamas, no have solution in the Middle East, because Hamas just last week, I think it was Ismail Ania, I don't remember, say he don't believe the Jewish people need to live in Israel. Just last week, you know, these people want to kill us. How we can negotiate with this kind of people? How we can make peace with this kind of people? This is what I mean. So the problem for me, it's not Palestine. The problem for me, it's Hamas. And when all of us go to focus to take off Hamas, in this day we go to make peace, not before. We must to take off.
Well,
Hamas,
let me ask you a question,
Gaza.
Lashai. Let me ask you one last question. The PLO, which is the Palestinian government, does it make violence with Israel? Answer my question.
Okay, who you think controlling Gaza? You really think they
No,
controlling
I'm not
Gaza?
talking about Gaza. I'm talking about the West Bank.
Okay.
Is there war in the West Bank?
The what?
War.
War?
Yeah. Is Israel bombing the West Bank?
No.
Is the people in the West Bank, are they attacking Israelis? Is the government in the West Bank attacking Israelis? Are they bombing Israelis?
No, but I don't have problem with the
PLO. Okay, you don't have a problem with them. Okay, fine. That's what I'm getting to. But do you know they're not giving Israel problems, but yet again Israel is still taking more land in the West Bank, even though they're not giving problems. What's your answer to that? Why is the West Bank being taken settlement by settlement, more and more land, if they're not giving problems? Why? Because they're not giving, because they're not resisting. If they resisted, it wouldn't be like that. So yeah, you want peace. Yeah, Hamas is the problem. They're violent. Well, the people that are not violent, which is the ones in the West Bank, and they want peace, and they don't want problems, and there's still their land is taken from them. How do you explain that?
First of all, this is the land of Israel. I told you 600 times in the Bible, God promised to us Israel. Mm-hmm. Let's tell to the
so
people.
Then why? So then how is Gaza? How is Gaza the problem?
Wait, in the Quran, how many times God, or how many times Israel in your Quran? How many Palestine in your Quran? 0 times. Palestine no show up 1 time in the Quran. How you explain this? Why you really think Israel is your land? Who tell you this? Who?
So then you don't believe in peace. You believe in every Palestinian to live in Israel. There's no 2-state solution. It's 1 state. So then you just go against your word.
No, I believe in peace. I very believe in peace, but not with Hamas. And in the day Palestine go to take off Hamas, we can talk about 2 countries. But now we can't talk about this. We can't talk about this. because we can't talk, we can't make business with terrorists. It's not. It's stupid to do something like this. But what I try to tell you, in the Bible, God promised to us this land. In the Quran, 0 times.
So then why are there Jews that are protesting with the Palestinians saying that we don't belong in this land? And those are the Orthodox Jews, the ones who are more religious than you.
This is different story. This is long story.
I think the biggest thing, which I really love and appreciate, I look up to both of you guys because you both have reached a point in your life where you can speak to your culture and represent it in a really amazing way. I think you both carried yourself in a very distinguished manner this evening. And I learned a lot from each perspective that I really didn't understand. But I think it always starts with some type of dialogue to figure out where some of the difference of opinion is and where potentially we can see some type of common ground. I really am thankful, Amir, for your time and Lashem for your time. I think there's a lot of things I need to look up and kind of dive into. And it's troubling only because I truly believe that there is a solution to every problem with time and with understanding. And I think it only can get to that point by hearing people speak. Lashem, Amir, you both are individuals that care about your culture and your community. And I wish the best for you both. And I'm a supporter of you both. I love you guys. I love what you guys are doing, especially Amir, the way you show your culture through the events, and it's spreading throughout all of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I think on social media, there's even some New Jersey universities that have started to potentially show interest. And Lashem, I know that everything you're doing on social media, showing that video, kind of perpetuating the idea that there isn't always this Jewish people being the aggressor. I think these are both messages that are important. I think this conversation obviously can continue on, and there's a lot more that needs to be said and it needs to be heard. But I really thank you for your time. I want to give one last opportunity to maybe say one last thoughts moving forward. Anything you want to give out? Any perspective you want to share, guys?
The last thing I'd like to share is, like I said, I would love for the whole world to know about the Palestinian-Israeli conflict. That's really, I would love for everybody to know about the conflict and to do research. Everything's online, and that's how you would know what's going on. And not only in Palestine and Israel, around the world, especially in the Muslim communities around the world, in China, in India, all around the world, Muslims are being prosecuted, treated lower class citizens, put into concentration camps, and people need to look at not only the Palestinian conflict, but all Muslim conflicts and all conflicts with people around the world, in all countries. Because you can't care for one person and not care for the other.
Lashem, do you have any last words?
Yes, last word. I hope one day go to have peace in the Middle East. I hope we go to eliminate Hamas. I very hope to live with the Palestinians people together, really. And very important, don't believe to all what you see in the social media, like Amir. He watched too much the Instagram, too much Facebook, have a lot of fake news there. So please don't believe anything you see, okay? Very easy to do fake news today, okay? And I'm telling you, really, the IDF, the military of Israel, this is the most ethic military in the world, okay? And if if Hamas, this is sentence very important, in the day Hamas put their weapons on the table, go to be peace. I promise to everybody. But in the day Israel go to put the weapons on the table, not go to be Israel anymore. Okay? We want to live with them in peace. They don't want to live with us at all. They don't want Jewish people live in Israel. They want to kill us, okay? And it's not start before 70 years. It start before 2000 years. So I very hope we go to change this. And we can change this in the day Amir stop to give legitimation to Hamas. In the day Amir go to say, Hamas, this is terrorist group and need to take off Hamas. In this day, we go to have peace. Inshallah.
Okay. Thank you guys both for your time. I think this was an incredible, powerful conversation and discussion.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. It was an honor to talk to you.
Thank you for having me on this show of yours.
You are the best. I am the best. Rome. Son, come back in.
I lost my family.
He has a godmother in Philadelphia.
They're sending me away.
His only other relative.
And what are you doing about it? Nothing.
We have no choice but to follow protocol. There's no way around it.
No more questions. Thank you very much.
Bullshit. Dude,
you say?
he said bullshit. You're saying you're doing a good job. Whole time people out here looking dumb as hell.
I just call bullshit when I see it.
Think about it. All we know, people selling, people robbing. We got family members still in that trap life. We not worrying about the consequences because we too broke. The inability to understand the consequences of one's actions based on financial privilege. It's called affluenza.
What? Man, I don't believe that.
Believe it, it's real.
Treat us how you treat your mom.
I'm going to sleep.
Far from campus, ain't you?
Came to see me.
Say his name. Say his name.
Came to see Jared.
Go home, nigga.
Philly. So you don't love me anymore?
I love you. You don't even ask me if it's okay. I know you do what you want. You don't have to ask me if it's okay. I know you do.
So, is there a problem?
I see something I like that takes my breath away. I need to look at it. I need to stare at it. I need to chase it from the train station and learn her name.
That's sweet. That's really sweet.
This is my first year as a professor, and I want you to develop a deeper understanding of your inner self, your connection to others. Maybe you'll discover your passion. I want you to rely on your group as a crutch. I want you to reach to them and to discover and explore ideas and emotions you never could on your own.
I'm a cutter.
Why do you do that?
It's a way for me to feel the pain and be relieved. That's something that I struggle with.
I want you to remember something. A dream that you dream alone is just a dream. But a dream that you dream together, that's reality. Welcome to college.
We're gonna have to help each other if we want to pass this assignment. We're gonna have to be honest with one another, so maybe we can figure out what's going on in here and in here.
Wow. You guys got your big houses, white picket fence.
I don't have a white picket fence. I don't even know what that is.
I guess this is our home.
Yeah, this can be our home.
You must be not mine.
play one-on-one.
Are you crazy?
For your heart.
No.
Let's get a ball first. You got the umbrella.
I'm not messing up my